Good day. This is the 19th video tutorial on Designer program. In today's lesson, we consider building a pyramiding strategy. When building, we will use the moving average and standard deviation indicators. Pyramiding is a strategy for increasing capital when trading on the stock exchange. Its essence lies in the gradual opening of a series of trades against the background of a favorable trend, which increases the trader's chances to achieve a stable income. After a positive result, the next order is doubled compared to the previous one. The trader only risks the amount earned and the minimum initial order. The profit depends on the number of steps in the pyramid and grows exponentially. Our strategy will have 3 steps. That is, each of the steps will be equal to 1 standard deviation. We will use the strategy from the previous lesson as the basis, by changing the mechanism to verify that the current critical index value is reached for the trade. In other words, the strategy will continue to trade in one direction until then. While the current index value is greater than the average by 3 standard deviations, 3 steps, and in the other, while it is less than 3 standard deviations, by 3 steps. To calculate the standard deviation of the average index value, we will use the indicator cube. In the cube settings, set the value of the standard deviation indicator. Set the number of periods to 1. Now the cube will retain the standard deviation of the average index value, and it can be used for levels. After calculating the standard deviation, its value must be passed to the variable cube. Which will store and pass it along the schema. Take the variable cube and set it up. Connect the cubes with links. The variable cube now receives and passes the standard deviation value of the average index value. Signal pass will be carried out after the cube receives a signal to the trigger from the indicator cube. In the schema, we will postpone 3 steps for pyramiding, and therefore we need a value of 3 standard deviations. To parameterize the number of steps or levels, enter the variable cube, in the settings of which we specify the value 3. Now, this cube stores the set number value. To calculate 3 standard deviations, use the formula cube and write the formula A times B. Here, A is the deviation value, B is the number of steps. Connect the cubes. The first argument is the standard deviation value of the average index value for 10 periods. The second is the number of steps that we use in pyramiding. Now, the formula cube calculates 3 standard deviations of the average index value and passes this value along the schema. To calculate the limit values, we will change the formula for its calculation. In the first formula, we add 3 standard deviations to the average value. In the second, subtract. Now, one cube calculates and passes a value that is greater by 3 standard deviations. The second is 3 standard deviations less. Now our strategy will buy Gazprom shares and sell Cyberbank shares. Until then, while the current index value is 3 standard deviations greater than the average. And vice versa, sell Gazprom shares and buy Cyberbank shares, while the current index value is less than the average by 3 standard deviations. Thus, increase the volume of positions. Run the strategy and see our orders. Here, we see the building of a chart of the average index value. You can see the direction of registering orders as the index grows and vice versa. As you can see, when the index reaches the limit value calculated using the standard deviation, orders are registered in the set direction. If you act correctly, trading capital is safe as the market moves in a profitable direction for you. If the price breaks through to the next resistance level, and when returning to it is fixed above that level, then there is every reason to add a new position. The main prerequisite of using pyramiding is to make sure that the trend is stable. It is also necessary to take into account the profit-loss ratio of 2 to 1. With the competent use of pyramiding, the trader gets profit knowingly more, but the risk increases. Therefore, it is important to choose the right pair of instruments for trading. That's all. Thanks. Goodbye.